Thank you, Mr. General. Chief. Again, congratulations. We'll start with Mr. Jara. The issue, I represent most of our county on this committee, and there have been issues surrounding NETEX. It takes like sometimes 2 weeks to process one container. And as long as the APN terminal have 5 days grace period. And then when those grace periods are dealt with, then NETEX delay you. And then you notice that you have a lot of charges. You notice that as you speak, there are a lot of containers that have been going into auction from local businesses. People loan money from the banks, and today they have gone back into poverty because of what's going on. Then it's seizing the houses based on a process, a common process, comparing that to PVAC, where they used to take like 45 minutes or 1 hour, but they are taking like 2 weeks. What commitment do we have as a country for NETEX that they are bringing our people to actual poverty?
Thank you, Senator. So if I understood you correctly, your question is about how we can lessen the burden of our people by increasing efficiency in the port operations, especially involving NETEX. I want to say yes, I commit to you that when if I'm confirmed, one of the things we're going to be looking at is to increase efficiency. So we will go in there and identify what the bottlenecks are. We'll work with NETEX and we'll work with other stakeholders, in the port, including the brokers, the broker association, and all parties, to see how we can streamline the current processes to ensure that people don't incur unnecessary demurrage charges on account of the delays, in clearing these things. So I want to commit to you, because I don't know what the exact issues are speaking to you right now. I need to go in and understand what the issues are, and then we can work on increasing the efficiency. I will give myself 3 months to be able to develop efficiencies that will ensure that the turnover time will be much, much less than what it is.
I will give you a chance for you to understand what the issues are. Getting people working in India, they have to send bill from India before you go to payment. These are some of the issues. And when NETEX took over, most of our Liberians were laid off of jobs. And giving jobs to other foreigners whose offices are not here. But when you go to pay, they have to communicate with them outside of the country. I think that's a major issue. As senator of this county, I will be looking for the possibility of us looking for another company or another LRA grouping that will be at NETEX office and serving that capacity that give more Liberian jobs than giving it to others. Okay, you implemented the poverty reduction strategy at the planning while serving there. What's your view now, based on the fact that you led the poverty reduction strategy program, and the poverty reduction strategy program was successful in other countries, you led the process here. What is your view relating to that?
Well, my view is that, President Selly first term did the poverty reduction strategy, and then the second term they went to the agenda for transformation. So, when we start to do comparisons, it's really good to look at the historical.
I say, do you think it was successful, or do you have another view?
That's when I'm coming to Senator. We need to look at ourselves in the historical context. We need to look at where we were when President Selly took over first term as a country and where we have come from. And then by the time our poverty reduction strategy ended, there were several lofty ideals and goals that were set that were not met. You know, but I think marked improvement will be, and some of those improvements, which especially the ones that are focused on peace and security, stability, are things that have been built upon, and today we have a fledgling democracy that we now are like the example country in the sub-region, where others are going to military rule, we are now second democratic turnover. So I think as a people, we have not been able to achieve all of the objectives and goals that were set in the different development strategies that has come since the PRS up to the PAPD, but we're making steady progress. Should we stop at that? I say no. Let's accelerate it, let's be more vigorous. But marked improvements have been made over the years before, to get us where we are.
We need to go faster, so I give use of my time. So long, because you and I
two more minutes. 2 more minutes.
Your uncle,
No, 2 more minutes.
Okay, so both of you speaking about revenue growth and what have you, there are opportunities, as you have stated in your opening statement. And one of those opportunities is by taking some decision. We have the act that created the LPRC. LPRC is so badly responsible to import gas and fuel into this country. No concession company have that authority, except LPRC. So you can raise up to 200 million additional resources from government, and you can implement that act that created the LPRC. Can you work in that direction? Can you take that decision?
This is for me? Okay, well, let me just come in. For me, I say yes. We can do it, and I think we can do even more. But we need to work concertedly. Because in the agreements with the concessionaires, which is granted by the Honorable Legislature, that is where the incentive structures and the exceptions are made. My suggestion is that going forward, and I think this was something in response to an earlier question, we probably need to review all of this. Is this concessioning model the way we want to go? Or do we want to take another model? Considering that we graduated from the time where we were in desperately coming from war, let's look at our current context and our current situation and determine. And if we decide that we want to go with a concessioning model, then what I would like to propose to this August body is that when the legislature is reviewing concession agreements, when the NIC is in discussion with concessionaires, that the tax authority should be at the table. The fiscal policy authority should be at the table, so that all of us can do the analysis. We can look at the opportunity cost.
Don't mislead us. You are there.
Yes.
So that's a difference. You're supposed to be you sit to the table. Both of you sit to the table.
Yes. So
before you
no,
come
I wasn't implying that they're not there.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is we need to dive deeper into the point I'm really making. Let me be brief about it. Is we need to dive deeper and make the analysis of the cost benefit of the things that we're waiving, before we can go ahead and make those commitments in those agreements.
Yeah. Mr. Minister, in addition to that, while you answer, what new you bring on the table?
Thank you, Senator Joseph.
Finish
Last one.
Finish.
The last one.
Yeah. The higher vote as well. Yeah.
The context of Mr. Space, you asked what new do we bring. We're going to bring a new dimension in the context of where we were before, experience. But the new dimension is my international exposure of late for the past 4 or 5 years. Working with the United Nations, Economic Commission for Africa, and most recently Africa Center for Disease Control. We've established a network of partners that are important to Liberia's group in progress. These are in addition to what we want to bring back to our fiscal space, and more discipline, more transparency, as we did before, necessary.
In terms of the issue of LRC,
Well, as we indicated, it's a matter to be reviewed, and we want to see those potential that will allow for greater revenue contribution to our national budget. We take a stock of it, and to make the necessary intervention, we will do those reforms. Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Phoenix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Minister and
Yeah, Commissioner General.
well, let me welcome both of you. I think my question is my question is, Mr. Commissioner General, please follow carefully. What's the size of the economy?
At the moment, in terms of real GDP, it's around 3.5 billion estimated for 2023.
What percentage of that do you believe you can collect as tax?
So, where we are, as we said, in the context of GDP growth, the expansion of the economy will inform. It's 3.5 billion, that's what I'm coming to.
If I'm not looking at the expansion, I'm looking at the say to me, Senator Finlay, this is the economy, 3.5 billion. What percentage of that 3.5 billion? And today you can tell me approximately you can collect.
So, in response to that question, the baseline as we have currently of the 600 plus million, we're going to use that just as a baseline.
So below 10%.
Obviously. So what people want to do going forward, as we address all the issues regarding tax administration strengthening.
But before you go there, let me leave the question because I think you want to lecture me. I'm not an economist, and I know you're very good at that. But I want to go somewhere. I'm trying to get to a point. If you want to keep the base, which is $625 million, $625 million. Then I have to go to the Commissioner General. Can you collect that money?
I think we can collect more than that.
No. I'm not asking for the future. I'm asking for the. I'll get to the future. As we stand today, can you collect the $625 million?
The answer is
So it's no problem.
yes.
Now, one bag of rice costs what? $3,000, $18. $18 one bag of rice. Because that's what I'm doing. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in spending for the road, the clinic, the hospital. I want the people to feel government. You know, Senator Tyler, Senator Taylor talked about money going to the districts, which I support fully. But I want people to feel government. And it's your job, Mr. Minister, for us to feel government. So, what is the inflation rate today? Approximately.
Let's put it around 10%.
Is it possible that you can bring that inflation rate down?
Yes, the process of bringing down inflation is always going to be reflected in those areas that we be making interventions. Say, for example, in the rice issue we just raised, we need to take a complete review as to what are embedded in the price for rice, especially on inputs. We want to see that, and then, where necessary, we think there are areas for those adjustments that could be made that will impact on the lower price, and we'll take that decision. So that's one of the areas, working with the Ministry of Commerce folks, is to clearly see quickly for that sort of intervention.
I want to use rice. There are other commodities that are essential for the market. People in the district are paying $2,000 a go 200 miles on motorbikes because of the gasoline price. Now, here where I am, is the Commissioner General, is that going to affect the collection of the $6.5 million? If the inflation comes down, which means the Minister of Finance, who has the policy, says, I'm going to reduce the cost, which means the importer now, let me ask my question, you can answer it, I'm not going to explain to you because I just want to hear from you.
Well, what we're doing is, if we bring down the cost of customs, which is where we might make the adjustments to be able to impact the price of rice. What will happen is on the other side, the utilization side, we will have an increase in consumption. And if we have an increase in consumption, the hope is that that will lead to an increase in generating domestic taxes. And so we might be able to mitigate it. But then we also must be able to take some of the measures that we mentioned earlier to ensure that. Oh, okay.
Because everybody go from coming now, so
You're going 8 minutes. Go with 10 minutes. Go ahead.
You're railroading this.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just follow Tyler once and for all.
Okay.
No, I think what I want to see, because you say thinking of the box. And of course I have issues with the president's annual message. There are some key components that was missing. I'm not going to your message. The opposition.
Senator, you protect it. Go ahead. Protect it.
Thank you. So what I really want to see is the policy and the revenue being able to impact the lives of the common people in the streets. I don't want to go to the Pogo shop and have to pay $200 for a price. What I want to hear from you is how can those people pay $100 for one plate of Pogo rice?
I got rice.
The other aspect is that the cost of living, to drive it down. It's not only the program budget, but to drive that cost of living down. I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about how you will manage that economy. But yeah, of course, in one place you want to grow it. I know that you can grow it in the mining sector, grow it in the agricultural sector. Banking sector is you know, I don't have to tell you that it's a mess. But you were supposed to. And how can you give me that guarantee that my end of the day is that tomorrow we're going to what you say you no, I ain't got it.
Tomorrow. Yeah, one better do the report. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I put my hands on and say yes to the Minister of Finance, yes to the Commissioner General, that when the committee call you, you will give us a clear definition of where we are, where you want us to go, and how your program will impact the lives of the individuals in our country. That is where I go, and that's why I asked you the question. I don't want you to give me theory for the future because none of you can open, you can't tell me nothing right now about your plans for the future because you're not sitting there and know the real situation as it exists. So that's why I try to stop you from going there in the future. I just want to know now. This is the economy. Country. You believe that we can grow the budget? Yeah, future thing. But as we sit today, I addition to collecting that money, the lives, the inflation, when you reduce it for better ways, you have to 10%. So when you reduce it by 5%, 3%.
Just to put things in context.
I'm not economist.
Yes, sir.
And I actually understand.
So that's why these interventions, as we speak about them, will require the needed financing and intervention. So,
when you say you're bringing back in my life,
that's so you ask. So if we have a budget size of 625 million, how much of that budget can we put, say, now do farm to market road opening across the country, opening the corridor, where at least somebody coming from Lufas or Grand Crew with their product as they have harvested, they will not along the road not find it easy. So once you can open those corridors, those are the enablers we are talking about. So we need to put, that's what I'm saying. So you're going to empower us through the budget and through the money. Say, for example, say public work. Public work that gets you in the next 100 days.
like you could decide that. I mean,
Yes, but
Well, you gotta get the approval.
it will come through the budgetary process. And that's what we are saying.
You gotta do that.
Public sector investment that has to
Thank
be
you.
the place we should be discussing. And then
Thank you.
national budget to focus.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you.
so that's how you're going to do it from the west.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Snow.
Senator Snow.
Thank you. The chairman, just let you know I have my time, so I'm watching the time myself.
Oh.
Thank you. Let me take this time to congratulate all of you who have worked very well. To start with, the double. I was a little disappointed when we started making part of the business. At the important responsibility will save thousands of lives. I would urge you that whenever you are doing your profile, that was a very key component of your life to service.
It's in the paper, but you didn't make
You did very well, you saved a lot of lives.
two Ebola heroes.
Let's start first with our international commitments. The Minister of Finance nominated. You were the last Minister of Finance and you turned over in 2018. When you left office, Liberia was in a very good position with our bilateral partners, especially ECOWAS. Our community levy were up to date. We're informed every time we wrote. There's a guy in the ministry called Benedict Ramos, who is one of the best public servants who have represented this country outside Liberia. And every time you ask Ben for a report on ECOWAS, the same day you get that report. And when you left that ministry, our hopes were very good. 6 years later, just today I sent a text to the community levy department at ECOWAS. Liberia owes about 18.5 million United States dollars. The highest indebted country in ECOWAS. 18.5 million. So embarrassing. You bring Minister of Finance, so you went to Council of Ministers meeting, and you know when you go to those meetings, the auditors, Minister of Finance here, you know, when you go to the auditors, posting the different countries in the country that you see Liberia, you have to bring your head down. And when you access the system at the Ministry of Finance change, when you read Benedict Rao asking for a report, say, I'll give you the report and come with the Minister of Fire. Are you prepared to return to that system where the reporting will be transparent and that you will regain Liberia's credibility? Even to, enter some kind of arrangement with the area, so far. In the same vein, to go to the LRA if the two of you can set up the system, because ECOWAS levy, it's not for the government. You wouldn't take the more money to give them. So set up a system where that money is bifurcated. By the time you take the consolidated account, work for ECOWAS, go to ECOWAS account, send the people that money. Because somehow we take ECOWAS and say, oh, but it was the very ECOWAS who gave birth to ECOMOC and gave us this democracy today that we enjoy. So, Mr. Kamara, I just want to appeal to you. I know you did it before. You did it before. And matter of fact, that is how Liberia chair the authorities of head of state and government for the first time on the Assembly. Because to chair, you got to be current. You got to pay your dues. And that's how Liberia chair. You headed that first. I want to encourage you. Let's return. You will follow Amar Collin and you will continue for us to continue. Then I go to the real issue coming home. There are some investors or investment in Liberia that receive incentives. We talk about incentives. There's a company here called Fawani. What they do, they input the agro oil in the ship. They have a big storage facility there. They store it in the tank. See how you see they put in the mineral water, big bottle in my hand. They empty the oil in the container, seal it, they get incentive, and sell the agro oil in Liberia more expensive than the sold in Guinea and Sierra Leone, our neighbors. But it has serious incentive. And I've enjoyed that incentive for years. Can you promise us that you will look into that and you owe or let them pay their rent and go start to it? The other process the oil here, bring the agro oil and sell it with incentive, but you just bring this oil in the ship, you put it in your tank, then you put it in the container, you got incentive, and you sell it more expensive than it's sold in our labor. The senior was zero. When the market was open and Liberians were importing or businesses were importing steel, those are also who into real estate or construction. They were cheaper. Today you see the certificate factory. Yeah. You get certificate, all the incentive. But steel today is far more expensive than when the market and better quality came at a lower price than the value today.
That's it.
Can we revisit some of those values that we give incentive to and it's hurting our people? Please. Before I got time, I want to be sharing my thing with you. The answer will make it long. I take up my 10 minutes. So I will manage it then. Huh?
Three more.
But let's go ahead and look at my time. I started 3:33. How will we move?
What's the time, Chief?
I said 3:34. Thank you, 3:35.
No.
Somebody talked already about the CTN.
You don't have the
so
time.
I won't go back to CTN.
You have the
I have the
I
official
think it was bad for the country. Or it's bad for the country. Then let's talk about harmonization. One of the reasons why I believe the CC government did not get re-elected. During the campaign, I heard people say, you harmonize our pay, we harmonize the vote. Are you prepared to restore civil service salaries that were cut due to the harmonization? Or you will continue to maintain the harmonization? Then on the taxes in Nigeria, taxes are relatively high. Even shipment. If you look at what it costs to bring in a container from anywhere in the world, going right to Sierra Leone, Guinea, and other countries, it's far cheaper than Nigeria. Senator Joseph talked about the United system that procrastinates. Whether it's the tariff, it's the insurance, the same with airfare. When you look at other regions, they tell you the taxes on ticket in Nigeria is high, it's very high. So that's why the airfare is very high in Nigeria. Can we just look at, can the two of you just sit down and carry on some reforms that will bring back dignity to society and then address the bread and butter issue? Those things that are causing hardship, those things are causing hardship. Can we look at some of those things that will try to bring back because it's a very important issue. Chairman, Bert, at the LRA advocates for a new system, the Liberia integrated tax system. The previous regime had another system. This new system was needed. Liberians are legally paying taxes are complaining that the bottleneck, ineffectiveness of the system is creating bottleneck and is causing you to lose or decrease, causing a decrease in the revenue collection. So maybe that's something like that you may want to look at. And then lastly, there was Spoon recently, Spoon FM, I think he's on suspension. But his argument that night was, because we still have a lot of manual system. Someone went with LRA, sent with LPRC to collect tax. And they're there for 5 years. 5 years they've been collecting taxes. And they got more money than the Commissioners General. But you just see the man, the best tax collector at LRA, so that they keep him. They will introduce a system that will involve our people over regular basis to enhance efficiency and productivity.
Senator Snow, thank you, but you took 10 minutes to ask the question.
Well, if you want to answer for the public, I'm going to really I'm not going to
Go ahead, listen. We'll have to do
You ready to do the whole 10 minutes? 10 minutes. A bad man. 10 minutes to read the agenda.
We appreciate the reflection. It's a country now we are confronted with the same holds true for years. The African Development Bank holds true for the World Bank. So every effort is now being made, especially to just get them back again. And these are huge demands they are now going to be placing on the new project, especially in terms of just settling. But we will do the best we can. This is what we have signed up for. It's not a time for excuse. We believe we endure the pain in the short term, but as we restore credibility and system to how we did before, ECOWAS level must go to ECOWAS. It will not be kept. The processes around which we will strengthen that administration of it, we commit to do that. In terms of those, and that's the very reason you heard from my colleague on the tax incentive review. So we just have to review all of the tax incentive, the duty-free, who got what and why. That process must be holistically reviewed. In terms of the harmonization, yes, the harmonization was bad. And the initial GSC report is clearly showing that you did harmonization, even the harmonized pay grade. You have in harmonization, you have over almost 2,000 plus individuals above that structure, and I was placing an additional demand of 500,000 plus on government wage. 9,300 plus of those who will went to look for in terms of physical count, not person. So that's why we believe that the way forward will first to do GSC, working with them, complete the audit of the entire civil service. Who is where, who's sitting where, doing what, and the pay structure review and the recommendation therefrom will inform how we go forward in the future as to whether salary will be improved. And obviously, as we just strengthen the system, it is still right for people to get better salary on the basis of what we bring and contribute. Not somebody sitting somewhere not even working and taking pay. So those are all the issues that we'll have to confront. I will leave the rest of it in terms of the tax administration issue.
Yeah, thank you. Senator, I want to assure you that as we review the entire incentive structure of that comprehensive review that the Minister just unveiled, we will begin to look at some specifics and you need to look at. We will look and see, in those incentive agreements, what was the, investors' roles and responsibilities, and to what extent are they meeting the requirements? Also, we will review. If you say you brought in this much raw material, for which we give you waivers, and we know the rate, the production rate for those materials that you brought in, then we know you're supposed to have produced this much, of the finished product. Now, have you been reporting it correctly? Have you been paying the taxes on the sale of those? So we will do a comprehensive review also in terms of the compliance with those incentives, as well as establish whether they are actually using the raw material for the production for which they were granted the incentive, or they're bringing the raw material and then siphoning some of it and doing something else. So we will do a thorough review and we'll make those reports public, and where there are tax obligations that a particular company has not properly done, we will ask them to pay the requisite taxes. You talk about looking at the manual processes. We spoke about that earlier, that we intend to automate many of the things and remove the individual discretion. And this is not a problem just with our revenue generating system. It's actually a problem all across government. And in my previous role in government, this is one of the things I continue to pitch. If we can try to automate and integrate most of our systems, a lot of the problems that we have across our governance system, across our economic management system, can really be alleviated. Is where you have individual discretion. That is where the risk is really very high. And to mitigate those, you just automate the process and remove those individual discretions. Regarding the lead tax, if we take over, if we confirm, we will work with the business community, with the taxpayers, and we will listen to the experiences and where the systems need improvement to ensure efficiency. The ultimate objective here was to increase, improve on taxpayer services. That's why these technologies are being deployed. So the responses we get, from those who, the responses we get from those who are utilizing these services, will inform, what additional improvements that needs to be made. These things will be ongoing, and will make continuous improvement. Regarding LRA staff that may be long-term in particular location, we will not only do rotation, but we will do thorough analysis of what has been going on. And the data is there from which we can be able to do the analytics and know those who will be found to be liable of other undercutting or understating government resources, and we have evidence to that effect, will effect the appropriate disciplinary action both administratively and criminally as enshrined in the LRA policies as well as in the law, in the penal code.
Thank you. So we'll take, Senator Finney has. We'll take Senator Momo Cyrus. From then, Senator John Honor Lane, then we are done. Then we'll take Senator Sibwe, Senator Smith, Senator Badi, both Senator Kane. Bodo Kane, Senator Sibwe, Senator Bodo Kane, Senator Smith, and Senator Badi Kwa in our order. Then the three of us will not be.
Thank you so much, Chairman.
But for me, let me appreciate the both of you. Knowing each other for over 25 years in the academic field. Both of you were my classmates. The minister served as our president during our class year, only class. I'm happy to be in the Senate and you guys on the other side in the Senate. And I'm assure you people have full cooperation in the Senate to make sure that your work will be done without hindrance. I can assure that. Now, to the key point, I'm a little bit concerned about the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs at the time, now the Ministry of finance development planning. I don't want to go for time's sake into the definition or the purpose for which the ministry was created, but we all know why it was created. But my question to you, Minister of Finance, is isn't working, isn't where the Ministry of Planning and Planning Development will add next to the Ministry of Finance? Is it working for the people? Is it working for the economy? Is it working for our governance system? Or should we go back to the old style? Something I want to know. I'm very concerned about that. Now, we talk about this issue of domestic. And the president spoke clearly about the PPP, which is the private-public partnership. Me being an entrepreneur for over 25 years, I have got over $300,000 with the Ministry of Finance on domestic and I provide services for government institutions over the years. Now, my question is, how do you expect the